3 weeks before his company hit $100 million valuation, Jason almost signed a single piece of paper that would have made him a multi-millionaire on paper and left him with almost nothing in real life. He had the pen in his hand. His lawyer said it looked fine, and if one thing hadn't felt off to him in that moment, this story would have ended completely differently. Jason was 23 when he signed the lease on a small warehouse in Austin, Texas, with $11,000 left in his bank account and a product he'd built in his college dorm room. 18 months later, that same warehouse was shipping orders to every state in the country, and investors were calling. But here's what nobody puts in the headline when they talk about young founders hitting 9-figure valuations. Nobody talks about the 3 weeks where it almost fell apart. If you're in your 20s right now building something, or thinking about starting something, this video is for you, because the mistake Jason almost made is the exact same mistake thousands of young founders are making right now, in Phoenix, in Columbus, in Tampa, without even realizing it. Let's rewind to the beginning. Jason's company started as a subscription box for fitness gear, something he built because he couldn't find affordable resistance bands that didn't fall apart after a month of use. He sourced better ones directly from a manufacturer, built a simple website over a weekend, and posted about it online. Within 6 months, he had 4,000 subscribers. Within a year, he had 40,000. By year 2, he was doing 7 figures a month in revenue, and investment firms started reaching out. This is usually where the story ends in every 20-something CEO headline you've ever seen. Young founder, meteoric rise, straight to the top. But Jason's story has a twist, and it's the twist that actually matters. As the company grew, an investment firm approached him with an offer, $12 million in funding, in exchange for 40% of the company and a permanent seat on his board. Jason was 23. He had never negotiated a deal this size in his life, and on paper, the offer looked incredible. $12 million felt like more money than he could ever imagine spending. He almost said yes on the spot. But here's the part most young founders miss. And it's the exact same trap catching people building side hustles in garages in Dallas and spare bedrooms in Chicago right now. Jason didn't fully understand what giving up 40% of his company actually meant long-term. He didn't understand that a board seat meant the investors would have real voting power over major decisions in his own company. He didn't understand that if the company ever needed a second funding round down the line, his remaining ownership could get diluted down to almost nothing. Alex Hormozi has talked about this exact trap before, how the first big check on the table is rarely the best deal. It's just the first one, and founders in their 20s are the most likely to grab it, out of fear it might be their only shot. Jason almost signed. The papers were in front of him. His lawyer, a family friend who normally handled real estate contracts, not venture funding deals, looked it over and told him it seemed fine. But something felt off to Jason, some small nagging doubt he couldn't quite name. So instead of signing that week, he did something most 23-year-olds in his exact position wouldn't think to do. He paid a business attorney who specialized specifically in startup equity $3,000 for a single consultation, just to review the term sheet line by line. That $3,000 decision is the entire reason his company still exists in a form he actually controls today. The attorney found something buried deep in the fine print. The deal included a liquidation preference clause, meaning if the company was ever sold for anything less than $60 million, the investors would get their entire $12 million back first, before Jason saw a single dollar from his own company's sale. In other words, Jason could have spent years building a company worth $50 million and walked away with nothing, while the investors profited completely. All those late nights, all that risk, all those years of his 20s, and he could have ended up with zero. He walked away from the deal. Everyone around him thought he was insane. Turning down $12 million at 23 sounds like the kind of decision people regret for the rest of their lives. But instead of taking the funding, Jason went back to basics. He renegotiated pricing terms with his manufacturer to protect his margin. He cut ad spend that looked good on a dashboard, but wasn't actually converting into real subscribers. He reinvested the company's own profits back into growth, slowly, deliberately, the unglamorous way that never makes it into a highlight reel. For almost an entire year, nothing exciting happened from the outside. No press, no big number, just quiet, grinding progress. Then, at 24, a much smaller, much fairer offer came in, $2 million for just 8% of the company, no board seat, no liquidation preference traps buried in the fine print. He took it, used the cash to open 2 new fulfillment centers, and within another year, the company crossed the $100 million valuation mark, with Jason still holding the clear majority of it. Sara Blakely has said something similar about her own journey building Spanx, that the deals you say no to often matter more than the ones you say yes to, because desperation makes you agree to terms you'd never accept with a clear head. Mark Cuban has repeated a version of the same warning to young entrepreneurs for years. Understand exactly what you're signing before you sign it, because the excitement of a big number can make you completely blind to what you're actually giving away in return. So here's the actual lesson, the one that matters more than the $100 million headline everyone fixates on. The mistake almost every young founder makes isn't a bad idea, or a bad product, or even bad timing. It's signing something out of fear or excitement before fully understanding it. It's assuming that because an offer is big, it must automatically be good. It's skipping the expensive question up front because saying yes just feels safer in the moment. If you're building something right now, whether it's a small side hustle or a company that's starting to genuinely take off, the takeaway is simple. Before you sign anything, before you give away equity, before you agree to any deal that changes who actually controls what you built, get someone who understands that specific kind of contract to review it, even if it costs you money you don't feel like spending right now. The few $1,000s it costs to properly understand a deal is nothing compared to the years it costs trying to escape a bad one later. Jason's $100 million company almost didn't exist, not because his product failed, not because his market disappeared, but because he almost signed away control of it before he fully understood what he was signing. The version of this story that gets told everywhere is the $100 million number. The version that actually matters is the 3 weeks before it, when one single decision could have erased everything he'd built. If you're in your 20s and building something right now, don't let excitement make the decision your future self has to live with for years. Slow down before you sign anything. Ask the expensive question, even when it feels unnecessary. It might be the only thing standing between you and losing everything you spent years building. It was. If this story hit different, drop a comment and tell me honestly, would you have signed that deal at 23 or walked away like Jason did? If you found this valuable, hit like. It genuinely helps this reach more people who need to hear it. And if you want to see exactly how the smartest founders structure these deals from day one, that full breakdown is coming in the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Learn, build, grow, succeed.